Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier and this is Ship Updates. Now of course we've had the big Gamescom presentation, a lot of information, a whole lot of different facets of Star Citizen, but since this is Ship Updates, I can cheat a little bit, I can cherry pick the ship information and deal with the rest of that stuff on Monday on the Piracy Show, but I'm going to keep it down to ships and I'm going to get the critical ship updates that we've gotten this week, and there's a ton of stuff. Now, of course, the big news, the Anvil Terrapin, a two-man long-range scout or exploration vessel. It's going to go for $195 with LTI. Of course, it's a concept sale. It has a size 5 unmanned turret, size 2 shields, size 3 engines. It's described as heavily armored, hard-hitting, but not that maneuverable. So overall, there was some mentions of it being a mining ship, and at one point people thought it was going to be another starter ship, which clearly at $195 it is not. It's a good looking ship, not my cup of tea, but for those of you who want it, it looks pretty decent, and at first glance I can't find any fault with it in terms of functionality. We'll have to wait and see everything that it can do, but it does look like a pretty promising ship. Now, moving forward beyond 2.5, which hopefully should be out for everybody tomorrow, fingers crossed. Looking into 2.6, we have seen now a flyable Herald and apparently a flyable Vanguard hoplite dropship, which is from Squadron 42, which is a little interesting, but I'll get into that down the road. I'm going to deal with the Vanguard again down the road, but those two ships are going to be out for 2.6. Now, neither one of those ships is hangar ready at the moment, but they are going to go straight to flyable. Both of them leapfrogging the one ship that was conspicuously absent from this presentation, which is the Caterpillar. So I'm not exactly sure what happened there. Well, the Caterpillar did get a redesign of its flight deck or its command pods, so it's possibly it's a slight delay. I don't think it's been dropped from the schedule, but we'll have to wait and see how that all played out. But otherwise, we now know that we are getting a flyable Herald and a Caterpillar to go with 2.6. Now, looking forwards to 3.0, and yes, 3.0. 2.7 has now been dropped more or less or repackaged as 3.0, which is looking for an end-of-the-year release. And from the presentation we saw, it looks like we are getting a flyable Dragonfly, which is awesome, and a drivable Ursa rover, which, if I remember correctly, the Ursa rover is the rover that came with the Carrack. Please correct me if I'm wrong if it was with the Connie, but I believe it was the Carrack. Check the comments below. I'm sure someone knows better than I do on that. But that those two ships, or ship and vehicle, should be flyable and or drivable in 3.0. So looking at the end of the year for those two. Now, there's a lot of interesting sales that are going on with Gamescom. Now, of course, the Argo is not up as of yet when I made this recording, but that is because the Argo is tied to 2.5, and so when 2.5 presumably releases tomorrow, that's when the Argo will go up. So if you're going to pick up an Argo, either for an LTI chit or whatnot, you'll probably, fingers crossed, be able to pick it up tomorrow. Now, there are a few interesting packages and some interesting stuff going on. There's 3 exploration packages, exploration being the theme of this sale. Now, the base package gets you a 315p, a Freelancer Dur, and a Dragonfly Black. Remember, the Dragonfly Yellow is no longer up for sale anymore, so that was a one-time only with the concept sale. Now, those ships, that package will cost you $195 for those 3 ships, no LTI. The next one, middle of the road pack, is $495. That does come with LTI, and that gives you the Terrapin, the Carrack, and the Dragonfly Black. Now, the Carrack alone, I believe, is going for $350 now, and the Terrapin is $195. So that's a pretty sweet deal against the flat-out cost of those ships if you were to buy them individually. That's a pretty decent deal. Beyond that, there's the Exploration Mega Pack, which is, of course, the big one, which is $895, which includes, and comes with LTI, which includes the Terrapin, the Carrack, the Freelancer Dur, the 315P, the Connie Aquila, and the Dragonfly Black again. And that's $895. So those are 3 packages, 2 of which I would say are somewhat attractive. The base one, to me, I don't see it, but different people, different opinions, obviously. Now, when you try to buy these ships individually through the site, it always diverts you to these packages. So I was looking if I could just straight up buy a Carrack, but apparently I couldn't. But you are able to CCU to the Carrack. So if you want an LTI Carrack, you can just buy an LTI Terrapin right now, or presumably an Argo tomorrow, and then CCU it to the Carrack, and there you got your LTI Carrack. So obviously, some pricey packages in there. Now, my personal opinion on these sales, and I'm going to opinionate a little bit here, sorry. I am not purchasing anything from the sale. And I'm not saying it because, I'm not purchasing any of these ships, and Anvil Terrapin, whatever. No. Because CitizenCon is coming in October. And we have now gotten a hint from Ben Lesnick that the Polaris, which is the new small corvette, is going to make an appearance at CitizenCon. For sale, presumably, hopefully, and $895 is probably ballpark what the Polaris is going to cost. Some people have projected lower, some people have projected higher, but ballpark, that's probably what you're looking at for that one big ship. And so I am going to hold off, and I'm basically, there are some nice ships in this sale. The Anvil Terrapin is obviously, it's an interesting ship. I don't really know, I need more time to look at it and think about it, but it looks interesting, it looks promising. But there's nothing in this sale that immediately jumps out at me and says, must buy this now. So those are the things that are for sale. Of course, you can now pick up an Ursa Rover for $50, or you can pick up an Ursa Rover with a Grey Cat PTV for $55. That's also up there, but that is just about all the ship updates that I was able to pull out of that presentation. Now, of course, I was, like everybody else, I was tripping out pretty hard to that presentation because, the fact that you could get on a ship at Port Olisar, fly all the way to a planet, land on the planet, anywhere on that planet, get out, walk around, get back in your ship, fly to the base, the city, the station on that planet, land there, go inside, get a mission while your co-pilot is outside or your pilot is flying around outside, and you can see him doing his thing through the window. Get a mission, go out, get back in the ship, fly to another planet. You saw NPC combat, just shooting pirates inside of the wreck of a Starfarer. Then you land on a planet, and then you're chasing around in a Dragonfly and on a rover having a battle. Then you're retrieving cargo, and then the presentation more or less ends there. It was mind-blowing, and I need time to absorb this, and I need time to think about it and to just roll it around in my head a few times. It really, for the longest time, a bunch of people, myself included, have been saying, once things really start to get rolling, they're going to start to go really fast. And this is like, this looks like such a huge leap forward. I mean, Star Citizen up until now has always been a game that, you know, you can play in drips and drabs, but you can't really go full on hardcore with, at least for me, because I need to have the sense that I'm actually accomplishing something and doing something. And now it really starts to look like a proper game, less like a demo and more like a game. And wow. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to get I totally just started opinionating on it, but I'm going to get into that on Monday. But those are the ship updates for this week. Those are the ship sales that are going on. If there's something that interests you in the sale, more power to you, but I am holding off for CitizenCon. High hopes for that presentation. And of course, there is the anniversary sale coming up as well. So if anything, maybe get an Argo just for the LTI chit. Trade it up to an LTI, something bigger. Who knows? We'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I'm going to leave a link to that presentation in the description below, but I am presuming that everybody has already seen this presentation. And if you haven't, what the hell are you doing on my Rinky Dink YouTube channel when you should be watching that video? Go. The link is down below. Go click it now. Shame on you. Thanks for watching.
Quantum travel initiated.